Millions of drivers are hitting the roads this summer. A lot of people choosing to take the car rather than a plane to save a little bit of cash. But you need to make sure that your car is really road ready before you do that. And here to help us is Jay Jennings. He's with NARPRO, which is the Network of Neighborhood Auto Repair Professionals. Nice to see you.
Good seeing you.
So you've got a real good checklist that we're going to go through. But the first question really is, how prepared are we before we hit the road? Are we good about checking our vehicles?
Not so good. All of our shops say that definitely there are problems that they see when they have cars are being checked before they go on a road trip. Number one thing we find out is they're not checking their air filters.
Not checking the air filters, and you can really tell the difference between a good one and a dirty one.
You know, here's a new one, a relatively new one that's in my wife's car, and then here's one that was pulled out of a car recently. I think you can see the difference.
Yeah, and these are supposed to be clean, and that's really filthy dirty. What happens then?
Well, it affects your performance of your car and your gas mileage as well.
Yeah.
And there also, remember, there's an air filter not only in for the engine, but they're all from cars 2001 and on. There's one for inside the cabin as well.
Okay.
So that's important to change that out because that makes the air conditioning run more efficiently.
When you talk about changing it out, what's the time on that? Every how long?
Well, it depends on the drivability. It depends if you drove in a haboob in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, really.
Really, seriously. So it all depends on how many miles you have and the conditions you're driving in. So it could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years.
Yeah, basically if your car can't breathe, it's not going to drive well.
It's not good.
Okay, let's talk about the tires as well, because that seems to be one of those issues we ignore.
Well, that's I'm really paranoid now when I drive down the street and I see all these cars that have tire pressures that are down. You can see them visually.
Yeah.
And so I'll roll down my window and say, please check your tires. And so I think the question they ask is, what's the right pressure?
Right.
So the first thing you need to do, you need to get a good, accurate tire pressure. We recommend a digital one because it shows the information much faster and much more accurately.
Okay.
Do not look at the tire pressures that say on the side of your car what it should be set at. That is dangerous because it's not following what the manufacturer says you need to be following.
That's a huge tip because I think most people actually do look at their tires. So where do we go?
Well, you go right here to the inside of your driver's door and you'll notice that there'll be some numbers that will tell you specifically to your tire size and the PSI you should run. Some vehicles, like the other one I have, actually have different tire pressures depending on the load of the car.
Yeah.
So if you're driving around in town all day by yourself, there's a different set of tire pressures than when you load up the kids and all the luggage and you're driving 75 miles an hour down the road at 115-degree heat. You have to check your tire pressures and make sure that they're a higher level than what they normally are when you're driving around town.
Okay, and you check your tire pressure. A single tire over or underinflated could cost you as much as 5% on your gas fuel. So if you really want to get your most out of your tank, you really have to make sure that your tires are good. The other thing are brakes. You know, sometimes we're not too good about our brakes.
Well, a lot of people don't think about that in addition to the brake pads, there's brake fluid, and that should be tested once a year and probably changed once every 2 or 3 years for the average vehicle. So definitely you should be checking that. There are reservoirs that are shown. This is an example of a brake fluid reservoir. You can see it's at the right level. Visually you should have that checked, but then a good certified technician should be checking the brake fluid to see if it's working correctly.
Is it worth it to buy premium gas, or is that not necessary?
Well, some vehicles, like the other car I have to run premium gas or I'll void the warranty.
Is that your Maserati?
No, it's not.
Just joking.
Just a different car. But the average car, most everybody, just like this car here,
yeah,
you can run on normal unleaded gas. Some people put premium in thinking, oh, it's going to be that much better for my engine. In fact, you're putting money down the drain and it's no benefit.
Okay. Also make sure you lighten the load. Take the stuff out of the car that you don't need before you hit a big trip. And you've got a special deal going on.
Well, we have a special offer where if anyone goes to narpro.com and finds any of our shops, we'll take 10 minutes to inspect your car real quick and make sure your tire pressures are what they should be. Check your air filters to see if they're clean, and then make any other recommendations in 10 minutes.
All right, Jay, thanks so much for being with us and getting us on the road safely.
Thanks, Connie.
If you'd like more information on any of this, you can go to our website, abc15.com, click on the Lifestyle tab at the top of the page.